Hello everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I'm Ebony and today we're going to recap the latest episode of Power Book 4 Force. And the latest episode is episode number 8. So jumping right in, we have Tommy nailing a distribution deal for Dahlia with a group of dealers. Then Mr. Flynn has cancer. We learned the exact sickness from his doctor. It's not like stage 4, however, but of course the doctor gives a best practice to start treatment and be aggressive with it. And in his eyes, Mr. Flynn kind of looks worried, more so about losing control over his drug empire than actually being worried about his health. So I think just the idea of being sick and then having to undergo treatment, he's more so concerned about how he'll look to his staff and to his kids especially, not being such a controlling, powerful force. So to me, he's got his priorities mixed up, but whatever. So then we see that Tommy recruits his brother JP to help in the lab for the Dahlia drug. Tommy told Liliana about his brother. So I feel like we're seeing Tommy and Liliana build a really sincere bond. I'm not going to say that they're going to be like when Tommy and Ghost were on great terms, but I see where we're seeing them build a sincere working relationship, which may lead to trust. We'll see. So then a fellow police officer figures out that Bennigan, remember Bennigan is the police officer that is on Vic Flynn's payroll. Well, one of his peers, one of his co-workers figures that out, and he actually starts to blackmail Bennigan, demanding $50,000 for his silence. Now Bennigan is telling his fellow police officer, you know, the money that I get from Vic Flynn goes to my sister's medical bills. So he's basically trying to say, you know, I don't want you to think I'm just living off the hog, because his coworker said, well, I want a new boat and it's gonna cost you, you know, basically for me to keep my mouth shut. Where I do think Bennigan kind of screwed up was when the police officer approached him, he said, you know, how much are the Flynns paying you? And Bennigan actually said about 100,000. Like, I mean, I'm not saying, you know, the police officer would be too dumb had he just said 10,000, but at least try, you know, because that's why the officer basically wanted half of that 100K. He says, well, you're going to have to pay me 50,000 for me to keep quiet. So then, you know, Bennigan's hands are tied. And I believe that this is the sister that Bennigan told Diamond about when Diamond was outside jogging and he made Diamond sit in his police cruiser, and he told him how before he went to prison, some of his criminal behavior led to a young girl becoming injured. I believe that that's Officer Bennigan's sister, whom he is taking care of right now. So Mr. Flynn, we see a scene where he is verbally abusive to Claudia, even threatening to take down whatever she's into. So Claudia told her dad to get ready for a fight. Now, you know, I granted Claudia, you are feeling yourself. You have discovered the drug Dahlia with your now dead ex-girlfriend, okay? So you want to stand up to your dad. However, your dad is a very powerful, dangerous criminal man. I don't think that you want to just test him just because you're his daughter. Don't assume that, you know, he won't harm you. Remember Kanan and his son on Power Book 1? Okay, so then Vic meets with Officer Bennigan and tells him to kill whoever sells Dahlia. So then Officer Bennigan, now he's using his brain, he says, well, that's gonna cost double. And Vic said, I was prepared, and handed him the cash. So right now it appears that Officer Bennigan can pay off his co-worker and still take care of his sister's medical bills. But we know that officer is not just gonna be satisfied with one payment of $50K, especially once Bennigan produces that cash, then he knows that there's more where that came from. Mr. Flynn tells Vic to spy on Claudia so he can punish her. Vic asks his dad, will he say that he's sick? Will he tell her? Mr. Flynn deflected. Vic brings up Gloria, saying there's nothing that Mr. Flynn can do about their relationship. So then JP goes to see he and Tommy's grandmother, Marion. She passed away shortly after he arrived. JP tells Tommy and says that they have to tell their mom. Meanwhile, Liliana shows her drug war scars to the scientists like a badge of honor. So it's so weird. Sometimes just when you think that Liliana is going to bond with the scientists, then the scientist kind of giggled almost about her scar and her experience in the drug game, and then Liliana kind of like snapped at her. It's like Liliana, for a moment, she'll be okay with the scientist, and then she has to like let her know, you work for me and I'm running this lab. So I don't know how that's gonna go down. I don't know if like they're gonna end up being lovers, or if in a rage Liliana may harm the scientist. I don't know. Claudia visits Diamond. She offered a distribution deal for Dahlia, but Diamond rejected her. Claudia still acts like she has something to prove. That's more like an opinion-based sentence that I wrote down in my notes. That's why she's running into dead ends. Meanwhile, Tommy nails distribution deals because he doesn't give a like Claudia is operating from a space of pride where she feels like she has to prove to her dad that she is smart enough and swift enough and tough enough to work in the drug game. Meanwhile, Tommy doesn't feel like he has to prove anything to anyone. And I feel like that is basically outlining the course that these two are taking. We're seeing Claudia get rejected, and we're seeing Tommy get yeses on his distribution deals, sales pitches, if you will. So Mr. Flynn's top assistant tells him that he doesn't get involved, but he treats his kids so badly and he's going to push them away. So this is a man, who's just opening up to Mr. Flynn like, hey, I think, you treat your kids kind of bad. I don't think it's going to always work out in your favor. So I think that's like really symbolic, really pivotal. So then Tommy goes to Vic and tells him to grab Gloria and get out of Illinois. This was after Tommy visited with Mr. Flynn, and he even got him an untraceable car. And Vic kept asking Tommy, why do you want to help me? Why do you want to help me get Gloria out of Illinois? And I think that Tommy, because he did enjoy Gloria's company, they were intimate a few times, I think that Tommy doesn't want to see anything happen to her. Of course, he told Gloria, he couldn't let a woman get in between him making his money. So he stopped sleeping with Gloria. He respected Vic and what Vic and Gloria has had, if you could call that a relationship. So I can see Tommy acting from a place of caring for Gloria to say, hey, you need to get out of here because your dad will do anything to break you two up. So Diamond met with the reporter Adrienne. Remember, Adrienne is the beautiful lady who has been intimate with Diamond, and we see that she's really been in his neighborhood to write a story, and she knows that he was locked up for 15 years. Well, it turns out that Diamond is not whipped, okay? He's not P-whipped. He knows that something's up with her, and he asked her about it. So he asked her why was she at the diner and why did she sleep with him. Adrienne claims she doesn't, fuck for leads, but I can't tell. Can you? Let me know. She further said that Elijah, the fellow member of CBI who died in that shootout, was supposed to be her interviewee, and of course he never showed up, and they were supposed to meet at the diner. Adrienne told Diamond that he means more to her than a story. So then we see Tommy lets Claudia know that not even her dad is gonna mess with his Dahlia money. Tommy's own nephew interviewed for a job with Tommy, showing that he's a mathematical genius. I actually love that scene. I consider myself to be a nerd, and I love numbers as well. So I just thought that was crazy how he could multiply and divide huge number problems. So he really impressed Tommy, and he had a job. Of course, the nephew knows that Tommy is his uncle and JP is his dad, but JP and Tommy do not know yet. So he said how his teachers thought that he was always dumb, but didn't even uncover his mathematical gift. You know, oh my gosh. And I have a feeling that that does happen sometimes. But I am a product of public schools, the public school system, a graduate of Michigan State University, Go Greens. I'm not knocking teachers, but I just found that so interesting that he said his teachers actually thought that he was stupid when he's very smart. So Liliana then decides that she will train JP on cutting the product, and it looks like Liliana and JP will get along, but will annoy Tommy. So, because Liliana was commenting like, oh my gosh, your mom, well, she makes beautiful babies, you know, one basically vanilla and one chocolate. And so her and JP just instantly got along, and Tommy seemed annoyed by that. So I thought that was funny. So I love the stained glass windows in Vic Flynn's kitchen. It kind of reminded me of like churches back in the day when I was a little girl, and they would have the stained glass windows. I just thought his house, it was just like really, really beautiful. So Mr. Flynn's assistant met with Vic at his home. He told Vic that his dad met with Tommy about bringing him into the Flynn drug empire. So now it looks like Tommy was just telling Vic to leave town so that he can kind of take his place. So you see where I'm going with Vic Flynn being confused? So when he was going to leave with Gloria, instead of taking the unmarked car, Vic decides to take his personal car. So we'll be circling back to that. Jenard then met with their Gary, Indiana distributors to introduce them to Dahlia. They loved it, okay? So Vic and Gloria were riding in Vic's car when suddenly they were T-boned. The driver then gets out of his vehicle and shoots up Vic's SUV. Gloria is gone, y'all. She is gone. I'm sure this is like 5 days after the episode has aired that I'm doing this recap. I do apologize. I do get busy. So I'm sure that you've watched it by now, or you've watched other recaps. It's so sad to see Gloria go. The actress reminds me of the R&B singer Maya. Let me know in the comments if she favors her too. To me, they look like they could be sisters. Tommy told Vic to protect her, and Vic didn't do that. Now, I'm sure Tommy will be pissed at him, but I think nobody will be more pissed than Vic that he did not protect her, and Tommy set everything up for them to get away in an unmarked car. So Tommy followed his new employee, who's also his nephew, the math kid, and he finds his secret box where the young man keeps a picture of him and JP when he was a little baby. He has a gun in there, you know, and some other information. So that's how Tommy figures it out, that this kid is his nephew. So now Tommy's gig is a family business. And the episode ends with JP calling their mom Kate. So it was another solid episode of Power Book 4 Force. I am enjoying it so much. Let me know in the comments your opinions on this recent episode number 8. Any other highlights that really spoke to you. Thank you so much for checking this video out. You know, subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.